At the very beginning of this journey, before we unfold the deeper realities of discipline, identity, self-mastery, and the seriousness of owning your time, I want you to make a conscious decision right now to stay connected to this message and commit yourself fully to this process of transformation. So if you are someone who is truly ready to elevate your mindset, restructure your habits, eliminate the noise that has been slowing you down, and finally build a future rooted in clarity, purpose, and consistency, then hold on to this channel, remain present with every word, and internalize each insight, because the information you are about to absorb has the power to reshape the way you think, act, and move toward your goals. And as we move through the principles that govern personal growth, financial stability, time leverage, emotional fortitude, and mental discipline, it becomes clear that every major breakthrough in life begins with awareness. And this right here is your moment of awareness. The moment where you realize that the life you envisioned requires a level of intentionality that you may not have practiced before. Yet the truth remains that nothing will change until you decide that your time is worth more than your excuses. And once you realize this, you begin to understand that the gap between your current life and the life you want is not talent, not intelligence, not luck, but consistent, disciplined action. And disciplined action is impossible without mastering how you use your time. And when you look around at the most successful people across industries, entrepreneurs, athletes, creators, executives, you will notice one common trait. They treat time like currency, protecting it, planning it, and multiplying it. While most people treat time casually, allowing distractions, delays, and personal weaknesses to consume their days, weeks, months, and eventually their lives. And as you absorb this truth, let it reshape the choices you make, because every moment either pulls you closer to your goals or pushes you further away from them. And you must decide which direction you are choosing today. And now, as we transition deeper into the core concepts that differentiate high performers from those who remain stagnant, I want to pause in the middle of this message and remind you of something extremely important. If this message is hitting you, if it is challenging you, awakening something inside you, or making you confront habits that have held you back for years, then you must remain engaged with this journey, support this mission, and stay connected to every upcoming lesson, because growth is not an accident, it is a deliberate commitment. And by staying with this channel, you are choosing to evolve into a version of yourself with more focus, more discipline, more clarity, and more intention. And as we continue forward, you will see that time management is not just an organizational skill, but a full identity shift, a redefinition of who you are. Because your schedule reflects your values, and your values direct your destiny. And if your schedule is filled with distraction, laziness, procrastination, and empty hours spent on meaningless activities, then your life will produce the same scattered, unfocused results. But if your schedule becomes aligned with your goals, if your mornings start with purpose, if your afternoons reflect productivity, if your evenings reinforce discipline, then your life begins to transform. And this transformation does not require motivation, it requires structure. Because motivation fades, but structure remains. And when you build structure around your goals, progress becomes automatic. And as you integrate this thinking, understand that the world does not reward people who wait for the right moment. It rewards the ones who move, who create momentum, who show up even when they are tired, who take the steps others avoid, and who refuse to let a single day be wasted. And every day you delay is a day someone else advances. And success does not slow down to wait for those who hesitate. It keeps moving, and either you step with it or you fall behind. And while people spend hours scrolling through meaningless content, complaining about circumstances, or making excuses for why they aren't achieving what they desire, high performers are out there using every minute, building, learning, improving. And that is why the gap between success and failure widens every year, not because of opportunity, but because of discipline. And as you internalize these truths, I want you to understand that life changes drastically the moment you stop letting time happen to you and instead begin directing it with precision and purpose. And time direction begins with clarity. Clarity of what you want. Clarity of who you want to become. Clarity of what you will tolerate and what you will no longer accept. Because without clarity, you cannot have discipline. And without discipline, you cannot have achievement. And without achievement, you cannot have fulfillment. And fulfillment is not built on luck, but on long-term consistent action. And as we now approach the final stretch of this message, reflecting on everything discussed, from identity to structure to discipline to the truth that your future depends entirely on how you use your time, I want to leave you with a powerful call to action that seals your commitment for the long term. If you are determined to upgrade your mindset, if you want deeper lessons that guide you toward financial independence, mental resilience, personal transformation, and consistent self-improvement, then stay aligned with this channel. Share this message with someone who needs direction. Strengthen your commitment by returning to every new video, and make sure that from this moment forward, you are not just listening to motivational words, but applying them with discipline. Because the path you choose today defines the life you live tomorrow. And the only difference between people who rise and people who remain stuck is the willingness to keep learning, keep evolving, keep applying, and keep showing up even when no one is watching. So take this moment as your decision point, your internal shift, your declaration that you are done wasting days, done delaying your goals, done living below your potential, and from this moment forward, you'll move with intention, discipline, and unstoppable forward momentum.